Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to all of you. Mr. Sarnyal has stolen my thunder. I was hoping to make a very passionate presentation for GIS in context of e-governance. He's already done it. That also makes my task a bit easier. So I'll start from where he left, which is a roadmap to introduce GIS or geographic information into the whole e-governance initiative of the country. And the term I'm using for that is GGov, which means migrating from e-governance to G-governance. I'm sure you'll agree, especially after listening to Mr. Sarnyal, that GIS is a very valuable tool to the governments. It improves the planning process, it makes it more transparent, it helps you in managing different processes, different information and content, and finally, it's a very powerful decision-making tool for the bureaucrats and other decision makers. It's finding applications in a variety of applications, variety areas. Earlier, GIS was seen as a niche technology. It was technology for the scientists, used by scientists for scientific research. I think things have changed since then. Today, it's becoming an integral part of mainstream IT. It's on the drawing board of all CIOs. It's a part of IT strategies of government organizations, corporate houses, and other institutions. It's already being used successfully here in our own country, in India, in this very state, Andhra Pradesh, which has been one of the pioneers in deployment of geospatial technology in the country, in the state. It's being used for land use planning. It's being used for transportation and transportation management. It's been used for development of new sources of renewable energy. It's been used in healthcare in a number of areas, also economic development, education. It's being used for environmental conservation, protection of our forestry resources, and other parameters. It's being used as a very powerful tool in the situation where you're dealing with a disaster. So all the stakeholders in a disaster response situation are finding geospatial information and GIS technology extremely useful. It's also being used by our own census department and other agencies for demographic analysis of the country at right up to district level. It's also being used in watershed modeling and management, and therefore you can harness the water resources more efficiently or more effectively. Conservation and management of natural resources, law enforcement, different security agencies, be it internal security or external security, are using it extensively. It's also changing the way we do our business. It's changing the way we organize and reason. It's bringing in a spatial dimension to our thinking process. It's giving us an opportunity to take a more holistic view of the situation, keeping in mind not just the information that we see in numbers and tables, but also visually. It's also giving us new platforms for collaboration between different agencies, so that when you take a more holistic view of the situation, you take input from various agencies, various stakeholders who are involved, both in the situation and also in mitigation. It's also becoming a new platform for communication, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So basically, it's becoming a new platform for integration of information coming from various sources. It's also changing the way we work. It's providing a more collaborative environment. It gives an opportunity to analyze, visualize situation based on which we take informed decisions. Then we measure the outcome of that, like if you take initiatives in forestry conservation, afforestation program, it gives you an opportunity to take a look at how situation changed on the ground in the last 5 years, 10 years, and therefore see what's the effect of the initiatives we took. If you have a flooding situation, you can simulate what if a dam breaches, which areas will get inundated, to what extent, and therefore what could be a mitigation strategy. The sources of in content, one of the key inputs you need in deployment of GIS would be the content or the data. And today we are finding multiple sources of getting content, right from satellite images, aerial photographs, or LiDAR technology, GPS and other location-aware devices like GPS-enabled mobile phones. Also, various DBM databases which contain geocoded information, sensors which are used to sense, especially in security situation. They are capturing information across the border and at sensitive locations and feeding to databases. And a more recent phenomenon of crowdsourcing, where even citizens are being used as a source of information. They see something on the ground, they capture it, record it, maybe on a situation, on a location-enabled camera, and then send it to the agencies like municipal corporation if there's spot a pothole. It's also advancing very rapidly, which is making the whole process of deploying and applying GIS a lot easier in different aspects, right from mapping to analysis and dissemination of information and services. Today, GIS follows 4 different patterns, started 20 or 30 years ago on desktops, initially on very high-end mini computers to engineering workstation, the Unix boxes, if you will. Got extended to Windows environment, Windows NT environment, then to servers where you're disseminating information to a large number of users within an organization maybe, or federated systems where different agencies are collaborating and sharing their content in a more integrated manner. And now the web and cloud-based GIS, where you can serve the citizens of a city, of a country, or the world at large on a web environment using cloud technology. So what is it that we need to do as a nation to migrate from e-governance to G-governance? Or how do we geo-enable our e-governance initiatives in the country? I'm sure e-governance needs no introduction. It's an initiative the Government of India took many years ago to bring in operational efficiencies and transformation in the government machinery, mechanism and governance, and finally strengthen the service delivery to the citizens of the country. And what G-governance would bring about will be bringing in a geographic dimension to the whole process of information gathering, collation and dissemination of content and services. Let's very quickly deal with some examples before I wrap up. Land accords, something which requires tremendous attention in our country, and we've been talking about it right from independence probably. GIS has an enabling role in creating geocoded databases of land accords, ability to integrate or mosaic different land boundaries, land parcels into village map, tehsil, and right up to district and state level. It gives the ability to allow citizens to access the database, print a map of the land parcel he or she owns, and also carry out transactions of land mutation, land transfers, and other things in a very transparent and efficient manner. Even, for instance, today we are talking about SEZs. There again, land acquisition and development can be geo-enabled using this technology. E-District, another initiative of the Government of India and NEGP, can benefit a lot from GIS technology, where the district administration can be spatially empowered to provide a lot more information to the citizens, be it in an RTI kind of query situation or a normal situation, and also strengthen the PDS system, the storage facility for the food grain, logistics for movement of food grain from place A to place B, and many other such applications in PDS. Emergency management, what you're seeing on the screen is a portal built when we had an earthquake in Gujarat in 2001, 26 January. And this portal was built to disseminate information to all the stakeholders, NGOs, citizens, public at large, and others about the state of the situation in the country, in the state, the affected areas, and on a GIS map. Agriculture, another area where GIS can contribute, right from crop planning, using agroclimatic conditions, using soil characteristics, water resource availability, subsurface water or groundwater, and also the surface water. It can be used to counsel farmers on what should be the next crop. It can also be used to do a crop acreage estimation before the harvesting season, so you know what to expect based on which you plan storage and logistics. It can be used to apply what should be the optimum content of pesticides and the fertilizer you need to apply to a given land parcel based on the soil characteristics, and of course land management. Transportation could be another area, and these are just some examples. I can go on for the rest of the afternoon if we look at all the examples where GIS can be deployed in e-governance. Transportation management, routing, logistics planning, route planning for government vehicles, the road transport, metro transport, for maintenance of highways, and therefore highway information system, dynamically segmenting highways into smaller segments and dealing with each of them individually. Trip planners, etc., could be some of the areas where you could use GIS in transportation. Urban and municipal, the subject of this particular panel discussion, it can be used for property tax management, right from identifying what should be the property tax chargeable from each property owner in the city depending on the area, the use whether it's commercial, residential, and other parameters. It can be used for management of various utilities which municipal corporation provides to the citizens, water, wastewater, fire service and others. Grievance handling, solid waste management could be some of the areas where GIS technology can find very useful applications. Internal security, in the earlier session there was a lot of talk about various government projects and the work that's happening in the country in the area of internal security. I can't think of any of those projects where GIS won't play an enabling role. Whether it's crime pattern analysis, trends based on the data recorded from different police stations, different regions in the city, in the state, for various aspects of intelligence gathering and analytics, also operations management, traffic management, and emergency response could be just some of the many areas where you could use this technology. Finally, how do we go about doing it? Looking at the current technology available, the web and cloud, we could create a system around a central server which will disseminate the content coming from various agencies and the stakeholders and make it open, visible to all those who will be benefiting from it. So what could be the roadmap? Creation of a repository of spatial information for the entire state, which could be like a state spatial data infrastructure, geo-enabling various government applications, land records, and many others, and a service-oriented architecture-based content and service delivery platform, which can be made visible to all those who will be benefiting from it. And these state SDIs, which will initially start for disseminating content, could grow into a GIS for the state. Thank you very much.